Cassidy's camera. Santa Monica, 2023. Cassidy Hale had a rule: never look back through the lens. She was a celebrity photographer, one of the best. Her name appeared in the corner of Rolling Stone, Variety, and every Vanity Fair list spread. People trusted her with their real selves: actors before the tears, musicians after the breakdown, models without the pose. She captured fame at its most fragile. But her own life? Left undeveloped. Hanging in a dark room she never quite stepped into. That changed the day she got the call. "We found your camera," the voice said. "What camera?" "The Leica. The one from '98. The one you said was stolen." Hollywood, 1998. Cassidy was 26, still green, still hungry, and dating Lena Moore, an indie darling with a cult following and the kind of face that made people lean closer. They were a secret. Lena was careful. Cassidy didn't mind. She captured their life on her vintage Leica. A gift from a mentor, the only thing she ever truly treasured. Back then, their love was the kind people envied. Reckless, soft, lit in golden hour glow. Then Lena got cast in a studio film. Then Lena broke it off. And Cassidy's Leica vanished 3 weeks later. She thought it had been stolen from her car. She filed a police report. Never got it back. Until now. Venice Beach, present day. The man who returned it was a collector. Said he found it at a flea market in Oakland. Inside were 12 undeveloped rolls of film. Cassidy held the camera like it might bite. She took it home. Left it on her kitchen counter for 3 days before she took the film to a lab she trusted. She told the tech, "No previews. Just print them." What came back changed everything. The photographs. The first few were nothing special. Early shoots, parties, behind-the-scenes candids of a girl chasing the edges of celebrity. Then Lena. On a rooftop in Echo Park. In bed, reading Franny and Zoe. Laughing in the back seat of Cassidy's old Civic. Sunlight caught her eyes in every shot. Cassidy had framed her like a memory she was already afraid of losing. And then a photo Cassidy didn't take. Lena. Crying. Alone. Sitting on their fire escape, the camera set on a timer. Behind her, Cassidy's Leica rested on the railing. As if Lena had taken it, after the breakup. As if she'd needed to hold on to something real. The letter. Folded into the camera case was a letter. The paper was soft and aged. Cassidy recognized the handwriting immediately. "I couldn't leave without taking something of you. Something honest. I didn't want to forget what we were when no one was looking. Maybe one day you'll get this back. Maybe you'll see me again. Not as the person the world made me into, but the girl who loved you like she'd never love anyone else. I was afraid and I hurt you. I know. If you ever come looking, I'll be where we said we'd go. The end of the pier. One last frame. Lena. Santa Monica Pier." Cassidy hadn't been there in years. She went at sunset. Leica around her neck. Not expecting anything. Not really. But Lena was there. Older. Wiser. Wearing a long coat and sunglasses and a look Cassidy hadn't seen in decades. Uncertainty. "I wasn't sure you'd come," Lena said. "I wasn't sure either." They stood in silence. Tourists bustled around them. A seagull shrieked somewhere overhead. "I developed the film," Cassidy said. "You were still in it." Lena smiled, tired. "You always saw me better than anyone." They walked together to the end of the pier. No declarations. No blame. Just old ghosts released into the salt air. Cassidy raised the Leica. "Let me take one more." Click. 6 months later. Cassidy's new gallery exhibit opened in Los Angeles. It was called Undeveloped, 12 black and white portraits, never retouched, never staged. Each photo a whisper of a past once thought lost. At the center, Lena on the fire escape looking at the sky. And beside it, a new shot. Lena and Cassidy, side by side on the Santa Monica Pier. 2 women, grayer now. Softer. Braver. No longer afraid of being seen. Epilogue. Cassidy didn't need to be known. She needed to remember. And for the first time in years, she looked back through the lens and didn't flinch. Some photos weren't just images. Some were proof that love had, in fact, existed. The woods behind Windale School. The woods behind Windale School had always felt too quiet. The pines stood too straight, the light always too dim. It wasn't on any map, just a thicket no one was supposed to enter. Especially not after 1982, when a girl named Ava Merrick went in and never came out. No one talked about Ava anymore. Just like no one talked about the others. Emily Ross had never been to Windale before her substitute teaching assignment. She wasn't supposed to be there long, just 2 weeks covering for a teacher on emergency leave. But from the first morning the kids were off, quiet, nervous, especially around the windows that faced the woods. On her third day she found a crude drawing left on her desk. It was inside. A stick figure girl surrounded by trees. A red X across her mouth. The words scribbled at the bottom read, "She still calls from the trees." Emily asked Principal Harris about it. "Prank," he said too quickly. "Old town ghost stories." But that night, she dreamed of sobbing echoing through pine needles, of her bare feet pressing into damp moss, of something watching her from behind a tree. When she woke, dirt was under her nails. On Friday, a child went missing during recess. Paige Harper, 8 years old, quiet, kind, loved frogs and stories. "I saw her go into the woods," another girl whispered. She said she heard someone crying. Emily joined the search party, trudging through the thicket behind the school. After 20 minutes, she saw red. Paige's jacket was draped across a bush. But no Paige. Emily kept going, deeper against orders. The air turned colder. The trees closer. Then she saw the ring of stones, 12 smooth rocks in a circle like a crude clock. In the center was Paige, standing completely still, eyes wide open but unblinking. "She said I could stay," Paige murmured. "Who said?" Emily asked. Paige pointed to the trees. Emily turned. A figure stood between the trunks. A girl. Long dark hair. Dirt-streaked. Hollow-eyed. Her lips were sewn shut. Ava Merrick. Emily grabbed Paige and ran, not looking back. The forest groaned behind her like it didn't want to let them go. Paige recovered. She didn't speak for 3 days. On the 4th day, she whispered to Emily, "There are others still there. But she let me go because of you." Emily transferred out of Windale the next week. She never went near a pine forest again. But sometimes in dreams she hears a chorus of whispers. "Find us, please. We're still waiting." The Blood Rose of Montmartre. Paris, 1889. The cabaret singers crooned of love and revolution as the Belle Époque pulsed through Montmartre's veins. But among the red lights and absinthe dreams, there was a woman known only as Leonie, a figure wrapped in lace and rumors as eternal as the shadowed stones of the Rue des Martyrs. She never ate, never aged, never wept, and her roses bloomed in winter. She lived in a forgotten manor choked by vines and ivy. They said her garden thrived on something more than soil. That the crimson roses were too red, too vivid, as if they drank from a deeper well. And Leonie, for all her silence, was always seen in the garden on the coldest nights, pruning with fingers pale as snow. 2. The composer. His name was Armand Cazalet, and he came from Vienna with nothing but a violin case and a debt to escape. He wandered Montmartre like a fevered ghost, playing in the alleys, drinking in the gutter bars, until someone whispered of a lady who might take him in, for a night perhaps or longer if he pleased her. When he found her home he laughed. "This house," he said, brushing ivy from the iron gate, "hasn't breathed in a century." But the door opened at his touch. Leonie greeted him with a voice soft as harp strings. "I've heard your sorrow," she said, "and it is beautiful." 3. The pact. She offered him a room, wine without bottles, a garden that whispered his name, and most of all, silence, the kind that wraps around your throat like velvet. Armand began to play again, but his music changed. It darkened, deepened, as if the violin wept with a voice older than grief. Crowds gathered near her gates to listen. Leonie smiled. One night, by candlelight, she asked, "Would you like to stay forever?" He thought she meant love. He said yes, and so she kissed him. For the blood awakening was not pain. It was ecstasy, a rapture of flesh and soul. He awoke 3 days later beneath the roses, the taste of blood on his tongue and a hunger that rattled his bones. She showed him the art of feeding. Not murder, not savagery. She taught him to take without breaking, to drink like a lover, not a beast, to worship the soul as it passed into him. He loved her for that. He would have followed her into fire. But Leonie was not free. The Rose Keeper. There was another. A man buried beneath the house. A vampire of the old world, Marcel, whom Leonie had loved once and chained when his thirst became monstrous. His essence fed the garden. His rage bloomed in every rose. And now, Armand's music had stirred him. One night, the roses screamed. Armand rushed to the cellar and saw Marcel awake, eyes like dying suns, teeth bared not in hunger but in hatred. "You will take her from me," he hissed. "I see it. I love her," Armand whispered. "She is mine," Marcel replied. 6. The duel. Vampires do not duel with swords. They duel with truth. Armand offered his blood. Marcel drank. In that moment he saw Armand's soul, all the beauty, the agony, the purity. And it broke him. He wept crimson tears. "I was never worthy of her," he said, sinking back into the dark. Leonie burned the roses. She freed herself. 7. Epilogue, 1901. Paris changed. The wind no longer smelled of absinthe and revolution. But if you walk Rue de Martyrs on a winter's night, and you listen closely, you might hear a violin, a haunting song of sorrow and seduction. And you might see two pale figures tending a garden that grows nothing at all. Because now they feed only on music and memory and each other.